Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David's rant of the week is, elections have consequences. Have you really listened to the left's message? With David and Gretchen talking about liberal values. Then, the NFL finally takes a stand on those who disrespect the flag and the national anthem. Sort of. Illinois continues to hack away at your Second Amendment rights. Then, find out what David Hogg is up to now. And finally, families of the Parkland victims sue the maker and seller of the gun used in the Parkland shooting. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
It takes a special individual to live in Illinois. You have to be connected somehow. Your mother still does your laundry. All your high school friends live here and aren't sober long enough to move. Your dream job brought you here and doesn't pay enough for you to save up money to escape. You love crappy weather, or you're looking forward to watching the state split in half when the new Madrid fault finally lets go. Your desire to live here has to overshadow any shred of logic whatsoever. The taxes are some of the highest in the nation. Ineffectual social welfare programs drain the state's coffers. A small handful of enormously powerful politicians de facto own the state. Potholes in the streets look like the result of a meteor shower. Interstates have three conditions: gridlock due to rush hour, gridlock due to summer construction, and gridlock due to winter ice and snow. And if you happen to believe in the Bill of Rights and are a pro-Second Amendment person, well, we all know about that problem. The thing is, Illinois has all the makings of a great state. There's Lake Michigan. The rest of the state is largely rural with bountiful rivers, lakes, and forests. And to be fair, Chicago is one of the best cities in the world. Chicago has phenomenal restaurants, incredible entertainment, including one of the world's best symphony orchestras, and a beautiful waterfront. There's a lot to recommend it, except, you know, for the part where people keep trying to kill you. But the woes of Illinois all trace back to one irrefutable fact. It is, and has been for many years, run by progressive liberals to the point it has made conservatives hide in closets and curl up into fetal balls. Yet, this is a democratic process, and if the slaves ever get angry enough, they can revolt and overturn the current political stranglehold. The progressive liberal agenda is strictly top-down. So if you think Illinois liberals are bad, check out what the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Maxine Waters in the Congress are preaching. After you remove the doublespeak and hyperbole, Here's what today's progressive liberals are openly suggesting for the future of the United States. First one out of the box of their bag of tricks comes the fact that any Republican president was an illegitimate election. A Democratic president is the will of the people. A Democratic president can pretty much do anything he or she wishes, circumvent the law, the Constitution, and the will of the Congress and John Q. Public. You remember we have to pass this bill to see what's in it, don't you? A Republican president creates constitutional crisis if his limo double parks. A constitutional republic is an inefficient form of government that makes a few people extremely wealthy, and they, in turn, functionally own the country and dictate how John Q. Public will live. Progressives believe our current form of government should be replaced by socialism, which, well, makes a few people very wealthy, and they in turn functionally own the country and dictate how John Q. Public will live. An inherent belief in the concept of socialism dictates that our healthcare system must be nationalized, and redistribution of wealth should be fiscal policy. Progressives would implement a maximum wage because nobody deserves to make so much money. On the other hand, there would also be a federally guaranteed income because, well, just because. The reason this is necessary is conservatives don't pay their fair share of taxes, while tax cuts and bonuses for the poor are nothing more than token efforts. Progressives see no problem with unrestricted illegal immigration, including terrorist groups and gangs such as the ultraviolet MS-13. They refer to them as undocumented immigrants looking for a better life. Well, that's probably true. There's a heck of a lot more wealthy people to rob and goods to steal here than in Salvador and Honduras. Funding entitlements for illegal immigrants is more important than funding veteran services, and for that matter, the U.S. military and law enforcement are racist and homophobic. Only a progressive would think it makes sense to have Syria on the UN Human Rights Council, and Hamas and Iran should be supported as a matter of national policy. Israel, on the other hand, is, well, Israel. They not only don't deserve to have a country, they don't deserve to live because 1967 they humiliated an invading force 10 times their size, so payback is in order. Unfortunately for them, those who would be doing payback are too busy screwing goats. If progressives want to change our government to socialism, then it makes perfect sense that they encourage disrespect of our national anthem and the U.S. flag. The one thing both progressive liberals and conservatives agree on is we need to build a wall. Republicans want to prevent people from entering the country illegally. Progressives will want to prevent them from leaving once we're all sharing misery equally. To a progressive, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is a living document and outdated. Violence against conservatives is acceptable, but freedom of speech against liberals is racist, sexist, or homophobic and should be outlawed. And the Second Amendment will be the first to go when progressives ban all civilian firearm ownership. Well, except for the important people such as them. Which brings me to the point. If all this doesn't motivate you to start taking elections seriously and putting your money and time toward ousting progressive liberals, I don't know what will, and we are doomed. And that is my rant for the week.
I think we're at a point where, you know, the people who are our viewers, our listeners, people like them, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough just for us to vote. I think we have to do more.
You're right.
You know, I mean, I think we have to evangelize. We have to spread the message that they're ruining our country, and that they're literally trying to take it away from us.
I really I agree. Not to sound self-serving, but you know, you look at when we used to have the radio show on WIND. Supposed conservatives, they wouldn't advertise. They just, you know, you couldn't get them to advertise. They won't put money anywhere. So, well, what's the return on my investment? Well, the return is if we don't keep beating the drums, you may not have a business to advertise.
If I mean, this is only one of many ways to spread the message, as I'm saying, but it is, I think, a fairly effective cost and time effective way to spread the message. And I think that, I think that anybody who doesn't see that is being really short-sighted. You know, and as you say, I think maybe just self-centered of, well, this is my business and I can't afford to, you know, support something that doesn't generate income.
You know, I always, we never had a true handle on how many listeners we had.
No.
But it really strikes me how when we go places, like in Springfield, how many people in Springfield walked up to one of us or both of us and said, "Oh, I listen to your show all the time."
People greeted me by name that I have never seen before in my life. And I apologize if it was you. I apologize.
It's true.
You were very polite. Didn't creep me out at all, but I don't know who you are.
It is funny. Well, you know, people have come up in grocery stores and all kinds of places.
Right. Well, and we have another viewer. I know it's a viewer because it has to be. Somebody came, somebody was in the hallway at the Friends of NRA banquet in Joliet, and it was during the dinner, so there was nobody in the hallway. I was leaving, and they were coming in from having a cigarette or something, and they go, "Oh, hi, Gretchen."
Right.
First time I ever laid eyes on that man.
I understand it completely.
Again, I apologize. I don't know who you are.
I understand it completely. But it's interesting because now, and you know, we've been doing this a long time, but it's interesting because now literally everywhere we go.
I was going to say, it helped a lot, and we've talked about this off the air. It helped a lot, actually, going from radio to video to all video.
Yeah.
Because if anybody wanted
Everybody's watching this.
right, if anybody wanted to follow, they had to watch.
Yeah.
So now people know what we look like. Whereas before, you had to be a super fan before to know what we looked like. You had to either go on Facebook or, go on, a website or something and find out what we looked like. But now everybody knows.
So anyway, we'll talk more before the end of the show about next week, because that's when the big shift occurs.
That's right.
We're going to do quarterback shift, so we get down in the huddle, snap a ball. I don't know. We'll do something, but we are going to return briefly after a message or two. I'm going to weigh in on the NFL. This is bugging me. The whole NFL thing has risen again from the ashes like Phoenix, and you want to shoot Phoenix. So we'll talk about that when we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use My Editor Creative Business Services and go to print with confidence. That's My Editor at mail.com or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
You know, we need that sound effect. You know what I'm talking about? Like the breaking news sound effect.
I'm sure we could get that.
Yeah, I think we need that.
We could work that out.
Because this is what we need it for right now. Here it is. Big breaking news. You ready? Big breaking news right here on this show. Thank God. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren became the first United States Senator to take the no NRA money pledge. I can't tell you how a woman who stands up for her convictions like that
warms my heart.
It inspires me. It truly does.
It is inspiring.
She said in a video that she would not accept, quote, a single penny from the gun rights group, unquote. Of course, here's the thing. No one has ever offered her money from the gun
That's what I
rights
said.
group.
I said I would love to have like a reporter on like a mainstream station go, so what date did the NRA call you and offered you money?
How much?
What was the date of that? When did that happen exactly?
That's just, she goes on to say, not one to, use hyperbole. The people of Massachusetts deserve to be represented by someone who will put their interests ahead of the NRA's demands, she said. It's time we strip the NRA of its stranglehold over our children's lives and our community safety. She is not going to accept money from the NRA. I wonder if they're burning midnight oil to figure out how to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Can you see Chris Cox in there going, oh, geez, how are we going to, she's got to take money from us. We got to get her reelected. Pocahontas. So there's a list of 200 candidates now who have taken the no NRA money pledge, and most of them are Democrats.
Yes. Most of them are people who, again, have never gotten the call.
Nancy Pelosi took it. Can you imagine that? Nancy Pelosi.
And Jan Schakowsky of Illinois. Our very own Jan Schakowsky took the no NRA money pledge.
I think that is hysterical. Talk about, and that's, what is that we always say? There's no substance. It's all flashed. No substance. They come up with this stuff. And
some brilliant PR person was like, hey, I got an idea.
I had to come out with that story first because that's just
the other funny thing about that. Yeah, the funny thing about that is there are several Republicans opposing her for her Senate race in Massachusetts, and they're just having a field day with it. They're having the best time with it. There's a candidate named Beth Lindstrom, a Republican candidate named Beth Lindstrom, and she says what would be more impressive, I think, to folks, is if she was to say she was not taking money from Wall Street. Because that's where she postures herself as the anti-Wall Street candidate.
She's such a Pocahontas. Trump just hit that out of the park when he did that. Pocahontas.
Did he invent that? I thought somebody else invented that.
No, it was her.
He latched onto
I'm sure it was Trump. And he says, I will personally pay to have your DNA test.
No, that was somebody else. It was somebody else.
I thought that was Trump.
No, it wasn't Trump. It was somebody else. But it was some like smaller news outlet. They were like, let us test your DNA. She's like, no, I don't think so.
The woman is a psycho. What's not a psycho is the NFL thing. Everybody has a right. I don't have a problem with the fact that, if you don't like our country, my suggestion is find another one. But you have a right to feel what you feel. The NFL, we got to just kind of recap this for people who may not be aware of it. There's no federal law that says before a sporting event you got to do the national anthem.
No.
They themselves, the NFL themselves,
it's a tradition.
Implemented that, right? And there's nothing that said the teams had to come out for the national anthem. They could do the national anthem, teams could come out afterward. Mm-hmm. So all this is big publicity stunt, okay? And Kaepernick, who started this 2.5 years ago now, probably, still hasn't gotten a job, which I think that's beautiful. I think he's got plenty of time to kneel, right? I mean, that's a good thing. He's got kneel time. So they came out, Goodall. Now, remember, Goodall last year talked very strong about, I support our players, we're 100% behind them, they have a right to do this and all that. Remember that?
Well, yeah, I do.
And then now, after they file their tax return, and the accountant goes, by the way,
After they crunched all the numbers for the end of last year,
the 50% of the people, and there's a lot of people who deserted watching the NFL, lots.
Yeah.
50% of those people said they didn't watch football or didn't watch as much as they always had in the past, cited this specific thing as a reason. So this has really cut sharply into NFL, which I say good for them. So now here's the new thing. Players don't have to come out for the national anthem. Mm-hmm. But if they do come out and they're disrespectful, they're going to find, first of all, the first thing they're going to do, and you can't make this up, they were going to give a 15-yard penalty. They haven't even started playing it. That's it, flag on the play, or no flag on the play. Maybe that's better.
right, flag on the no play.
Right.
The thing that you don't watch football and you clearly don't understand the rules. That could be devastating. If 3 people did it, that's 45 yards. If four people did it, the other team just got a touchdown before you even started playing.
I do understand that. My point is, this is not about penalizing the game itself. There's nothing inherently wrong with the game of football. I'm not a big football fan. There's nothing wrong with the game of football.
Well, and actually, it's completely American. No one else plays football but us.
Well, the word is up for debate with the Brits.
Well,
but
that doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm saying
but you're
this
right.
football with the oblong ball, no one plays but us.
Right.
It's our game.
But here's the issue. That's a penalty against a game which has absolutely nothing to do with the issue. And in point of fact, what they've actually done is they're going to penalize the team, the owner, by fining the owner if a player... What about the player's responsible? Why don't we make the player responsible? Because the player has a choice. He doesn't have to go out on the field. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't like that, he can stay in there. That's fine. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Because people have the right to have an opinion. But when you're in a national game that's owned by somebody, right? And, like NASCAR has always been, big pro-American and all that kind of stuff. That's what NFL's always said, right? They're, we're America. And then they spit in the face of Americans. Those individuals, I think they should learn to grow up.
Well, I think it's appropriate because... So each team has an owner. They're privately owned teams, and the owners are the ones that have the contracts with the players. True. So they could either put it in the contract that you have to come out and stand for the national anthem before the game, or they, put it in the contract that you make a decision, either stay in the locker room or come out and, respect the national anthem and the flag. They can verbally tell them and enforce that. I mean, we all, well, not you, but we have bosses that we work for. And if our boss says, this is what we want you to do, you understand that that's company policy.
You have choices.
Right, exactly. You have a choice. If you want to keep your job and keep your boss happy, you're going to do what they're telling you company policy is, what the expectation is. So I think it's completely appropriate.
Well, and we'll see what happens. I just, I guess it just, I've always had a problem with athletes from this perspective. I don't care if you make $10 million. I've never been one of these, being rich is a zero-sum game. If you have money, I can't have any. I'm one thought away from being a billionaire. So I've never have any problem. People go, oh, why do they pay him so much for? Who cares? The company thinks they deserve that. They think it's worth it. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with are those people who get that kind of money and then talk about, for instance, how in his particular case, how blacks have no advantage in how they're put down and everything in this country, while he has a multi-million-dollar contract. I have a problem with that. It's like Maxine Waters representing one of the poorest districts in the state of California. She probably hasn't set foot there. She has a house there. I doubt she's ever been in it. She has that mansion over near Beverly Hills.
Right.
You know, and it's the same disingenuous crap. If the players can't show respect for the country, then they don't belong on the field. Now, they don't have to think that way. They can stay in the locker room. But
As long as the boss says it's okay.
right, which the boss is now saying, yeah, you can do that, because they're going to clip his ears if they don't. Of course, we haven't seen what the fine is.
Well, I don't know. I think there are going to be certain team owners who are going to say, no, you're not staying in the locker room. You're coming out. This is part of your job. You're coming out.
Well,
and
they
you're
should be
standing,
able to do that.
You're standing for well, they can. I mean,
Yeah.
they, like I said, they have contracts with these people, and they,
Yeah.
you know, they have a lot of latitude in telling them what they can and cannot do. They have expectations of conduct when they're not playing. They have, you know, they're supposed to show up and, you know, do a certain, you know, weightlifting and,
Right,
you know, eating. And I mean, there's other things that go along with that.
And they have to do public relations. And this is
Right.
could easily be considered part of public
Oh, yeah,
relations.
absolutely. They have to pose for pictures, and they have to do, you know, conventions where they meet fans and, you know, sign autographs.
And you know another thing, many people, not our listeners because they're very smart, but many people really do not understand the First Amendment.
Right.
They'll be somewhere like at work and say, oh, I have freedom of speech. Well, actually, you don't.
No.
That's not what the First Amendment says. Your employer can say, shut up, and you shut up or find another job. People think they have freedom of speech. Kids say that. You know, oh, it's my right to say that. No, it isn't. Your parents can slap you around and shut you up, and I wish they did. Like the pig guy. We'll talk about him later. But, yeah, you know, you don't have freedom of speech when you work for somebody. You just don't. I'm sorry. But people don't understand that. The freedom of speech issue is you have the right to redress your government. You have the right to you know, say what you think about the politics of your country. That's what people can't stop you from doing. But when you work for somebody, they can just tell you, I want you to sit at that desk, keep your mouth shut. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I want to see how much they're going to fine. Because these guys are multi-millionaires. If they go, it's a $100 fine.
No. Billionaires with a B.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right.
The owners.
The owners,
yes.
yeah. So it'll be interesting because if it's like some piddly fine, oh, it's $25 for each player.
I don't think it's going to be.
They can only write a check out now. You got petty cash.
They're like, whatever, yeah. I don't think it's going to be that small.
I think it would be nice if it was like, you know, $500,000. I just, I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah, we already talked about Elizabeth Warren, so when we come back, we won't do the headline. We got to get that, though. We got to get that sound of that. Like, you know?
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll have the board back.
The telegraph coming through.
When we go back next week, when we go back to WIND, we'll have a board.
Talk about old technology.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Illinois lawmakers. There's another depressing thing.
Yeah.
When we come back, you're bringing it in.
I am.
And then we're going to talk about Illinois lawmakers and what a wonderful job some of the Republicans are doing for our Second Amendment rights. Yep. Is that a real? We'll have a pity party when we return with more on Target Radio. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474, and let's explore the possibilities together.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Now, more than ever, with so much anti-Second Amendment propaganda being generated, it is crucial that every firearm owner in Illinois be a member of the ISRA to support its lobbying mission to protect your Second Amendment rights. Meet like-minded friends to hear a great speaker, get an update on what's happening in Springfield, and support your right to keep and bear arms in Illinois. Join us at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
They're up to more devil's work in Springfield. They didn't vote on anything Friday, did they?
No.
Stuff came out of committee, went
Yes.
to, it's gone, it's on the floor. I think it's, yeah, it's.
They referred it back
it's-
to rules,
Oh, they refer it back to rules?
Yeah,
Or it can come out anytime Madigan wants.
which is, we're talking about SB 337.
Yeah.
Yes, so I checked the update on the ILGA website earlier today to see, because for my action items, and they referred it back to rules, which I don't know what that means.
But it will come, well, I mean, basically, that, it's like a
It's like a holding pattern.
It's a holding
Yeah.
tank, yeah, and they can bring it out whenever they want.
So there you go.
And this whole bill, this 337, you know, initially it was vetoed. It was shot, the whole FFL thing was shot out of the water by Romer. And they just came back, gave it a new name. Just
Right, yeah, it's
bring
different
it back
number.
Up again.
It was
Yeah,
1657, now
yeah.
it's 337.
Maybe he
It's-
won't recognize it.
It's, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's not good.
I'm sure
Now,
there's minor changes.
Yeah, they've and they did put in some. You know, I've said this before, but it's that famous Churchill line. You know, you don't negotiate with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. I mean, and this is what people don't get. And I guess it used to bother me, but I guess I've come to the conclusion that most people really don't have time to look at politics. They just get their feed from wherever they get it, and that's it. But if you've never been to Springfield and you know done the lobbying thing, you really don't appreciate what it means. And particularly when you're in a minority party. I mean, seriously, in a minority party. People go, well, you shouldn't give an inch. Well, then you're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
You know, the only way that Todd and Rich Pearson and Ed and those guys get anything done is by saying, look, we won't make a big fuss over this thing if you'll just do this. And I mean, they just literally try and make deals, and they're always in a disadvantaged side when they do it. The bump stock thing is, you remember,
Yes.
how people are going, I already sold them out and all that. It was dead on arrival.
Oh, yeah.
Bump stocks
That was
were
gonna
dead
happen,
when
yeah.
it hit Springfield. There was
That was
no
gonna happen
question.
no matter what.
Exactly. So the point, what you have to do is you have to say, knowing it's dead on arrival, then you have to say, well, okay, we're not going to try and make a big issue. It's a sacrificial lamb. That's literally what happens. All right, well, we won't make a big issue of it, but if you'll do this. I mean, that's literally how it works. And people who say this, you got to take a hard line, just, you know, and not give in, you lose everything. They'll just roll right over you like a steamroller. That's it. I'm done. I'm going home now. Oh, wait. I am home.
We have 26 minutes left.
Yeah. Harmon, you know, do you not just want to, like, slap Harmon? Just, you know what I mean? I just walk up to him and
No, because it wouldn't help.
maybe knock some sense into him. I'm not suggesting I'm going to do that. I'm just saying that I wish I could remember the name of this politician I was telling you about earlier. It might have been Doug Mayhall. But somebody sent me a press release from a state legislator, and I think he's up around Deerfield, somewhere in that area, where he said, I would vote for high-capacity magazine ban because high-capacity magazines allow the gun to be fully automatic. And I read that. I had to read it twice because I couldn't believe anyone was that stupid. But he actually said that. So I called him. I didn't get him. It was yesterday. It was Saturday. You get them. Hi, we value your message. Please leave it, And I very politely said, you're an idiot. And I actually invited him to come shooting. I said, let me take you out. We'll shoot the gun. I'll show you how it works. At least you will understand what you're talking about because you look like an idiot when you make a statement like that. Are we going to make a book on whether or not I hear back from that guy?
Sure. If I can put some money on no.
No, that's my side.
Oh,
I'm on
well
that
then
side.
no one's going to take that bet.
Yeah, well, probably not. I do have a woman from the Tribune coming out to the club.
Really?
I'm going to take her shooting.
Well, this should be
She's doing a
interesting.
story, about concealed carry and that sort of thing. So I'm going to let her shoot and threaten her if she misquotes me. That's fair, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought. She seems very genuine. Well, she seems genuinely confused about the subject, but yeah.
Good. Those are always the best stories to be assigned to. The ones you know nothing about.
Well, yeah. I just, I do believe, I really believe. Remember, it's been a long time ago now, but remember that young woman who is in improv and she wrote a letter to the ISRA.
No.
This is
Might have been before my time.
Oh no! It was probably 4, 5, 6 months ago.
Oh.
And everyone was saying it's toxic. Don't respond, all that stuff. So I didn't respond on behalf of the ISRA because I'm just on the board. I'm not an officer. But I did respond as president of Safer USA, and I was sent her an email, and it was very nice, and I cordially invited her to come, out to ASC, and I'll let her see the firearms. I'll let her try them. She'll understand how it works and all that kind of sort of stuff. Now, she has a closed Facebook page, but somebody
You have a mole.
who knows me, who I don't know the person in my person. It's like people you've run into, but they sent me a copy of what was written in there. They dropped a dime on her, and in all fairness, she goes, I got a response, which, she wrote.
They weren't expecting.
Yeah, she literally wrote the president. She wrote the president of the NRA. She wrote all these people and either got a form letter or nothing.
Right.
So she said, I got a response from this guy named Lombardo, and he seemed really honest and very genuine, and he invited me to come out to his club, and he said he'd show me this stuff and let me try it. Then somebody on there goes, it's a trap. If he's trying to get you out there, he's going to do something to you. I'm like, give me a break. No, I never heard from her. But it did what I thought it would do. It left a positive impression on her that people on our side of the fence aren't psychos. Mm-hmm. So be that as it may. Next week, we will have live in the studio at AM 560, we're going to have Margot McDermott from the state legislature, and we will have Ed Ronkowski, our attorney, who was the head of the Republican Party in Will County and really keeps his finger on the pulse, and Doug Mayhall, the new president of the Illinois State Rifle Association, and we will get I'm losing my voice. We'll get a good update on everything that's going on in Springfield. So you want to make sure, we start at 9 o'clock instead of 8. We will still be on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes.
Right?
That's the plan.
That is the plan.
It should work, right?
Should be great.
That's right.
Using WIND cameras. They're letting us use their cameras. Or just listen to AM 560, 9 p.m. You won't want to miss it because you will actually find out from the people who are in Springfield what is really happening in Springfield. So much for that piece of work, right?
You didn't want to name names of all these traitors?
Actually, go ahead. That's probably not a bad idea.
I thought we were going to run down the list of all the traders.
That is a good idea.
All of our traders in Springfield. So 2 Republican senators, John Curran of Woodridge and Chris Nybo of Lombard, not only voted to support SB 337, which is the new gun dealer licensing bill, they signed on as co-sponsors. Tom Rooney of Palatine voted to support SB 337. Jim Oberweis voted present.
Yeah, present. That's impressive.
Yeah.
He was out milking a cow. That's why.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
Other Republican senators chose not to be on the floor to vote at all. Dan McConchie, Karen McConaughey, and Paul Schimpf. That surprises me because we know Paul Schimpf. That is very surprising. This is an article from Illinois Review, which they need an editor desperately. But they chalk it up to either the Illinois Republican Party has a lack of whipping skills or lack of interest in holding the members accountable for the platform. So then it passed the Senate, and now it's going to the House. So it was in the House Judicial Criminal Committee. And there are 5 Republicans on that committee. 3 of them voted against it. 2 of them did not vote. Republicans Lindsay Parkhurst of Kankakee, which is another disappointment to me because I know her, and Barbara Wheeler of McHenry did not vote. 1 Republican representative, Steve Anderson of Geneva, signed on as a co-sponsor in the House. And I would like to say, once again, this is the dark side of term limits. Now, there's no term limit, but he is retiring. So he has nothing to lose, okay?
Right.
He doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, so he became a co-sponsor of 337 in the House, even though he's a Republican. Piece of crap.
Well, it's like I said in my rant, these Republicans down there are curling up in field balls, and they're just giving in. I get you can't draw a line in the sand because you're a minority party. You got to be flexible, and you got to do the best you can. But it doesn't mean you just, sell out.
Well, especially, I've certainly learned this on the county board. You learn how to play the game. When it doesn't matter, vote your conscience.
Exactly.
If it's not going to make a difference one way or the other, then vote your conscience. Obviously these people think that it's going to make a difference. If they vote for something that's anti-gun, they apparently think it's going to bite them in the ass at some point. So, they feel like they have to either not vote, not show up to vote present, something like that. So, they're playing the game.
What's interesting, though, when you put it in a bigger context, you take a break. That was a segue, wasn't it?
It's pretty good.
It was
Not
a good
too bad.
segue. When we come back, we'll put it in context, if I remember what I'm thinking right now. But I think I will.
I don't think you will.
And I think we'll be back shortly with more
On Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. From bachelorette parties to school dances to just just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
From the Illinois State Rifle Association, SB 337 gun dealer licensing is still alive. If you have not contacted your state representative and asked them to vote no on SB 337, you still have time. Guess what time it is, boys and girls? It's time for the open house at the ISRA range. This year's open house is less than 3 weeks away, Saturday, June 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the ISRA range in Bondfield. Why should you attend NRA Day at the ISRA range? There are many reasons. Number 1, free admission and free parking. Number 2, shooting activities for the entire family. Number 3, covered firing points. Number 4, no charge to rent guns. Manufacturers will be on hand to let you shoot their guns for free. You just pay for the ammunition. Number 5, no FOID card needed. Number 6, nearly every shooting discipline will be available for you to try. Air rifles, archery, .22 pistols, handguns of many calibers, shotguns, rifles, even muzzle loaders. So we will see you at the open house on June 16th, right? The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, June 2nd and 3rd, Illinois Conceal Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry as well as Florida and Arizona. Saturday, June 16th, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. Sunday, June 17th, Introduction to Tactical Carbine, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
We're talking about voting for bills that, were safe, that you knew wouldn't pass. Mm-hmm. And the comment I wanted to make, and it was Toy Hutchinson, isn't that how she pronounced it?
Toy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Hutchinson played this game, well, gosh, it's actually been a long time ago now, hasn't it? Probably 4 years ago. She had voted for a couple of pro-Second Amendment bills in the state legislature, knowing full well that those bills would never see the light of day, that they were not going to pass. As a result of doing that, she got the NRA endorsement, even though she's been anti-gun all along, and was running against a candidate who was an NRA instructor and should have gotten an endorsement, but because he was never been elected before, didn't have a record, and they gave it to her. So he got fucked. I beg your pardon?
You really want me to say it again?
No, I don't, actually. That's, God, we're going to go on the air.
I'm just getting it out of my system.
Yeah, all right, let's really get it out of your system. Do you have a gun by chance? Of
course he does.
So,
what kind of a question is that?
You know what? I forgot. Everyone should know this. That
I wish we had like pomp and circumstance queued up. Well, we don't.
Geez. In addition to the we could have pomp.
We'd use it like. It's the only time we could ever use it.
So our beloved techno weenie and announcer.
Oh, that was harsh.
Well, let's be fair. Okay, I mean, whatever you say. Like, I wish I understood how satellite communications were able to interface with Martian landings. He goes, oh, I know that. I mean, am I right?
Oh, yeah. No,
absolutely.
You're not wrong.
See?
Just calling him a techno weenie was kind of harsh.
No, he knows it's a loving thing.
It's all good.
See? Anyway, Eric is now a deputy. He finished. Oh God, how long did it take? 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah. Holy cripes.
I thought mine was long.
Yeah, no kidding. And so we won't say for what department because they probably will.
They'd shoot me.
Well, we could say it. I mean, I'm just throwing that out. But anyway,
We need him.
He's
You just said that we need him.
he's badged. He's badged. He's badged. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's nice, isn't it?
It is nice.
I think it's nice. It is. I tried to talk him out of it, but I think it's nice. I think he'll do a good job too because he's even. When I first met Eric, he was a little tighter than he is now. He's chilled. Well, you were a little, he was black and white several years ago.
I don't think you get into law enforcement unless you are black and white.
No, you've chilled.
No.
Have I? Well,
You have.
I don't think I have, but if I have, then that's good.
I think you have to see things in black and white in order to even want to be in law enforcement.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, and I've said this many, many times. There were two types of deputies that I worked with. One type was they got out of the car looking for a fight, and they always found it. You always found a fight with them. The other kind, like Ray and some of the people I've talked about, they got out of the car and they go, look, we got a problem here that we have to resolve. How are we going to handle this? And they almost never got into fights. Even gangbangers, and there's no patented rule over this, but even gangbangers, if you show them a little bit of respect, it tends to keep the tempers down and keep things under control. It's not black and white. You gotta you look at this. This is how I always looked at it, and I think a lot of deputies do this. Obviously, if it's murder or something, that is black and white. But you look at it and you go, what's the intent here? Is there really a problem? Can we just give this guy a warning, and that's going to do the job? You've gotten warning from cops speeding down the highway, haven't you?
No, I've never gotten pulled over for speeding.
See, that is so unfair. because that's not true. You got pulled over with me in the car.
Not for speeding.
What was it for?
Because I didn't have my headlights on.
Is that what that was about?
It was like, they said it was dusk. I disagree, but yes, they...
Really? I thought it was speeding.
You were there. You don't even remember what happened.
I probably was sleeping.
No.
As we were...
No, it was. I have never gotten pulled over for speeding.
And I got pulled over twice in about 4 months. I got off both times.
One was speeding. The other one was weaving.
Well, that's true.
And you were going too slow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was weaving. But that was not because I was drunk, which is what he thought.
Right, it was a suspected DUI.
Yeah, I was, what it was late at night, and I was singing a song and falling asleep, so I'm singing, and the car is kind of, hitting the sure thing about a drunk driver is they're on the white line. Because it's the one thing that they can actually focus on.
They keep hitting it. Yeah,
exactly. It's just a dunk, dunk, dunk like that. And you go, pull them over.
Yeah.
And I was going dunk, dunk. But I was exhausted, anyway. But fortunately, he wasn't black and white. He goes, oh, well, you're not drunk, so that's fine.
And then you said he got called away to something else. So
well, and that helped. That did help.
The outcome might have been different had he not had somewhere else to go.
He was going to write me a warning ticket. He said, well, I'll write you a warning ticket.
Oh, yeah. They love written warnings. It's like the only department that has written warnings.
Exactly.
It's like, what is the point? No one even keeps track of it.
and he turned around to walk back to his car, and he didn't even get to the end of my car and turned around and handed me my driver's license back. And he said, take off. And I go, thought you were going to do a warranty ticket. Got a call, got to go. Just like that. Gone.
Yeah.
I won. But anyway, that's the point about the...
We definitely want to get to Pig, though.
That's true. We do. We want to do Pig Boy.
We don't want to belabor the state police point because we want to talk about Pig.
Pig Boy is, that's worth doing. First of all, that this guy wasn't a flash in the pan.
It's pretty
and
shocking.
long gone.
Well, he's working at it really hard.
Well, he's being paid for it, I'm sure.
Well, okay, but he's working at it, too.
Yeah, but go ahead, because I find it...
okay,
you found the story.
I'm not exactly sure when he called for this, but I think I saw it on Friday. So he organized some protests at a local supermarket, 2 local supermarkets that are the Publix chain. And because he found out, or his contacts at Bloomberg found out and told him that Publix was supporting a candidate for governor of Florida who is also supported by the NRA, also gets NRA donations. So this guy's name, the candidate's name is Adam Putnam, and he has been the agriculture commissioner. And so, which actually makes sense, because in Florida, the Department of Agriculture regulates concealed carry.
Right.
So it
Which
actually
I've
makes...
never figured that out.
No, that doesn't make sense. But it actually makes sense that the guy would get donations from the NRA because he's in charge of the firearms program, the concealed carry program down there. So, so David Hogg organized 2 die-ins at Publix supermarkets. I'm not sure which ones, what town they were in, but so basically they embarrass, browbeat, whatever, Publix into saying they're not going to support this candidate anymore. So a company spokeswoman also on Friday, so the protests were Friday, this was also Friday, the spokeswoman said the chain would halt its contributions for now as it continues reevaluating its donations.
Big boy. My favorite one, which we have just enough time, I think, to cover. Here's a wonderful quote. And it says this: "Those in politics routinely dismiss any inconvenient information, no matter how factual, as fake. And they routinely say things that are demonstrably false. And so here we are in the midst of an epidemic of dishonesty and an endless barrage of lies. Elected officials and their supporters who propagate alternate realities are one of the greatest dangers facing democracies. The only thing more dangerous than dishonest politicians who have no respect for the law is a chorus of enablers who defend their every lie." Do you know who said that?
Well, I do, because I have the article.
Michael Bloomberg. What?
Yeah, you would expect it to be like Ted Cruz or somebody.
Exactly. It's Michael Bloomberg and the press. He's described himself in the press to a T.
Yes.
And the beauty of it is, here's what I really like the most about this. When they talk about we make stuff up, they talk about, well, this gun fires like a fully automatic. It's a full automatic. This is factual stuff. You can look it up in manuals. It's not true.
Right.
You know, they come out with this stuff.
Yeah. This is the guy who got 3 Pinocchios from Fact Checker, which is Washington Post Fact Checker, that, you know, some statement that every town for gun safety made. And, you know, has been repeated by politicians like Nancy Pelosi, and he got 3 Pinocchios, just as an example.
They just lie. Now, I wouldn't say that there's no Republican, there's no conservative who's never been dishonest. You know,
of course.
It's human nature.
Of course.
But when you say that we charge you with fake news, when it is fake news, when it's black and white, it's clear. This firearm does this. No, it doesn't. Look it up in the manual. It doesn't do that.
Right.
That when I read this statement, I just broke out laughing. It's just the funniest thing I've ever read. The guy who is the leader of disinformation is accusing the Republicans of doing it.
Yeah, between him and Gabby Giffords, you know, it's like, okay, I don't think there is anyone who does it more.
It's shocking, and you know, it's become pretty well established that Soros is the agitator, the violence guy, the money guy, and Bloomberg is the minister of disinformation.
He's the anti-gun guy.
He is.
Speaking of politicians lying, Obama said at a tech conference that his 8 years in office were scandal-free. We like to end with a laugh. I wanted to end with
However, our show is scandal-free
and a laugh.
And we are ending this show this week. So
I could drop some curse words if you.
No, thank you. But join us next
ready.
week. Join us next week on AM 560 at 9 p.m. Sunday night next week. Our guests are going to be
Ed Ronkowski,
Margaret
McDermott,
and
Doug Mayhall.
Doug Mayhall, new president of the ISRA. Meanwhile, we'd like to thank you for taking time to listen tonight and as long as we've been on here, and we'd appreciate if you tell your friends about On Target Radio.
We'd also like to thank our engineer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, the Will County chapter of the Illinois State Rifle Association, my editor, Creative Business Services, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
By the way, all of you who are listed as advertisers here won't be starting next week.
Pay up.
Give me a call. We can work it out. And finally, we do hope that you will listen to us next week on AM 560 at 9 p.m. Sunday night, when we will continue covering the red meat issues that affect your life.